Hi, everybody. This is Rene Hewitt, and welcome back to In the Kitchen with Chef Rene Hewitt. There's a segment on my show, it is called Spotlight, a conversation with. And today I have the ability and the pleasure of speaking with Dr. Chris Reber, who is the president of Hudson County Community College, where I'm an alumni of. Dr. Reber, welcome.
Thank you, Chef Rene. Thank you so much for having me today.
It is a great pleasure. Um, I know that the college have some great achievements since the onset of the pandemic, which is which has hit so many institutions. What are some of the things that you were able to work on, and
Yeah.
it helped the college?
Yeah. You know, Rene, there hasn't been a day that's gone by since the pandemic started that I haven't been inspired. And I believe, and I've lived long enough to watch this happen a number of times in my lifetime. Sometimes the most significant adversity brings out the best in people. And we have seen that at the college. We had to pivot almost with no notice from our regular on-ground operations to moving everything online and remote. And the challenges were enormous. We all know the challenges from a health perspective, but all of a sudden requiring students who may not have had an online experience before to do all their coursework online, and likewise faculty, some of whom have never taught online before. How do you do all that? How do you keep students enrolled and making progress around all of the other life situations they're encountering? But we got through it as a college community because everyone, and I mean everyone, rose to the challenge, and we saw just selfless acts. I consider them to be acts of heroism. People, giving of their time to teach one another. Our Center for Online Learning just ramped up very quickly to offer virtually 24/7 support to students and faculty. Our college community came together. They started working together like groups of 30 people on safety equipment for when we could return, on protocols, on improving our IT capabilities to support the all remote format, finding ways to help students who really would like to see you face to face but can't. I mean, I could go on. And then in addition to how everyone in the college community helped one another, we had so many members of the college community help others in the larger community. The culinary program that you're an alumnus of is one of our anchor programs. We had students and chefs, faculty, just out of their own initiative, come together and start cooking hundreds of meals to
Yes,
give to
I saw
community.
that. I saw some pictures. Now, after after the pandemic hit the country, um, how did the college or yourself go about announcing it to the public and to the faculty and to the students? How did you go about it?
We're a college community that is very transparent. So, we do a lot of things just as a normal part of our culture that bring people together, like town hall meetings every month. And we just continued doing those virtually. So we started communicating immediately. We did videos. We established immediately a website. We established online forms that would allow people to share their needs, including financial needs. And we put together a care team that assembled and was communicating with the college community on their own. We had a coronavirus relief, coronavirus task force of a whole cross section of our community. They sent email updates. We had people phoning. We phoned every student. So it was a barrage of using every opportunity we had, not only to communicate, but to keep people updated. So we, lots of email, lots of video updates. We did town hall meetings.
Yes, I've seen them.
Audio.
Yeah. Did any of the faculty and students did they get, not in panic mode, but just the fact that they might be losing their jobs because businesses around the country and institutions were not necessarily closing down, but sort of going back and say, okay, we can't have these students come to the college. We can't have you sit in an office. Did they take it lightly, or did they, was in panic mode?
I think it was everything. I mean, there's no doubt that that our college community members collectively and individually felt angst. I don't think there was a person that I've worked with or talked to that throughout this pandemic that hasn't been very worried, nervous. So many members of our community have had sick folks, sick at home, sick themselves, and worrying about losing jobs, all of that. And so one of the things we did immediately, and when I say we, I mean the whole college community came together and we started offering support services. So 24/7, mental health support, social work support. We have an organization called the President's Advisory Council on Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, PAC-DAY. They started doing like daily programs for the whole college community, tapping students, faculty, and staff to share their expertise, to help lead discussions. And the idea was to provide a forum, even though we're apart from one another physically, provide a daily opportunity for people to interact, share concerns, get help, also celebrate heroes, remember people like the late Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Congressman John Lewis. But these video events that are happening now daily have, in a really interesting way, brought our college community together. And there's a sense of engagement and caring that I think has never been realized before, even though we're remote. One of the silver linings in this awful situation is we've learned how we can communicate together in a moment. We can have a meeting in a moment like you and I are.
Yes.
We can see. I always think, I'm showing my age, the Jetsons. That
I remember them.
To communicate this when I thought to myself, am I ever going to see something like this?
And with all of this happening, did the college get any government assistance? I'm not asking for numbers, but just in general, because
yes,
there's a lot of businesses out there who didn't get any assistance, and they need it. Not that the college doesn't, because the college needs funding in order to operate. But did the government come in and give some sort of assistance, or the state?
Yes, and we're both at the federal and the state level, and local. It's going to sound like a lot of money, but we've gotten over $10 million of one-time grants and aid to help us do a number of things. We since the pandemic started in March, we have given students over $4 million in funding just to help them with their everyday needs. This is largely federal funding.
This happened because of COVID-19?
Because of COVID. Through the CARES Act, the Federal CARES Act, we were given $4.2 million specifically to allocate to students.
Oh, that was good.
Not necessarily for tuition and fees, for any any issues they might be having. Lost electricity, can't make the rent payment,
Yes.
someone lost. And so we quickly established protocols and a process for getting money that we had available to students and into their bank accounts.
That was really good. I should have applied.
Yeah,
No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
Well, some of the funds could not be used by some of our students. So, for example, foreign students.
Oh, yes.
So our foundation started raising money and making gifts and doing donor match programs so that we could raise more money to get it into the hands of students who didn't qualify for the federal funds. And then we've gotten lots of other federal funding and state funding that that has allowed us to have the safest possible environment for when we returned. Air purification systems in every building.
Yes, I heard, especially, well, I had asked somebody about culinary because, that's my background. How did things work for culinary? I know that there was certain things set up, I believe, 7 students in the class, double mask. I was told they had a dishwasher that was rolled into the kitchen to help with the pots and hand and just throughout the building.
Yeah. So let me just quickly finish what I was saying, and I'll go right into culinary because it's a great story. So we receive funds to do. It cost us millions of dollars to do the sanitation we've needed to do. We are doing deep cleans to install this equipment to make the campus the safest possible environment it can be. We, as a college community, established 2 overarching principles to guide all of our work through this pandemic, and they are safety and students. So we also we wanted to protect our employees, not only physically and from a health perspective, but we didn't want to lay people off. And so we established probably the most flexible arrangements of a college or university in the country, in as much as we have said to all of our 1,000 employees, if you don't feel comfortable being on campus, we're now back, okay? You don't have to be on campus. You can continue from home.
Yes.
Whatever the reason, you have to take care of kids, you have healthcare issues. And we also said, if you need time to do things like take care of kids or family members, you don't have to use sick or vacation time. We didn't ask any employees for documentation if they had any of these concerns. Nonetheless, we have employees that are staffing the things we're doing on ground for students, principals. And then finally, we saw a drop in enrollment, particularly new student enrollment, which has been a national phenomenon. We froze tuition and fees. Our trustees, we were one of the first schools that said no increases through 2021. So revenue was down. Our tuition and fee revenue was down. And yet our goal was, we don't want to lay anyone off. Well, the county of Hudson came through and helped us by increasing our county allocation by about $1.9 million, which made it possible not to lay anyone off. So since March, we haven't had to lay off any employees. We have allowed employees maximum flexibility. But everything we're doing is focused, in addition to the safety piece, on student needs. So getting to culinary. We began to plan for a gradual return to some on-ground classes this fall. And most of our classes this fall are being offered online. But about 15% of our courses are being offered on the ground using social distancing. So, I mean, we have evaluated social distancing requirements in every single classroom, every single office space. We have signage in 3 languages that make sure people know what the requirements are. But what we decided was the things we're going to do on ground are the things that students need us to do on ground in order to be making academic progress.
Yeah.
And so our focus on ground this fall has been culinary, because for obvious reasons, it's pretty hard to do, to satisfy all the culinary instructional needs virtually. We have these beautiful state-of-the-art industrial kitchens. So our culinary program has been offered pretty much on the ground all fall with safety measures in place. Also health sciences, clinicals, STEM labs, those kinds of things are happening right now on campus using social distancing. But our culinary faculty were so creative. So, between March and late August, when we started fall classes, everything was remote. We couldn't be on campus.
Correct.
And so chefs like you in your kitchen, taping their courses or offering their courses live online in their own kitchens.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned to Chastity the other day. She was mentioning something about a class for the kids to learn how to do cookies, but we can't use the kitchen. And I sent her an email, and I said, well, what about doing it virtual? Maybe it will work, maybe it won't, but maybe it will give the kids a little incentive to get into something else, because I'm sure a lot of them are sort of bored being at home. We can probably take it a little bit more, but the kids have so much going on in their brain. So whether it works or not, Chastity, she will let me know. And she's a wonderful person. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So
our chefs, they're using their own pots and pans in their kitchens. We've got cameras on them. Now everyone's back on the ground, but like you had started saying, we make sure that there's plenty of space between everyone. You have to have a mask on. You can't enter a building. I mean, the minute you enter a building, your temperature's checked, and if you have an elevated temperature, then there's a protocol that makes sure you get tested and don't come back. But, and so we've combined some of the on-ground instruction. So you've got our students in these kitchens taking classes, but distance apart. And then we bought beautiful camera technology that allows some of the students in the class to be watching the class virtually while others are on ground, and then we flip it.
Really? I did not know about. I have to one day go by the Culinary building and peek and see what's going on. I didn't know that you had the cameras in there.
So, we've done all of these things have happened because there's solutions, they're the things we need to do to remove barriers and keep our students whole and safe. And this is what I mean by people just rose to the occasion. They started getting creative. They started working together. Everybody has been together throughout all of this. And in fact, I have to share with you that, I think, I enjoy student interaction. So,
I know. And when you came to the college, I knew it was you, and I said, I was in the library cafeteria, area. I said, look at the president. He is all over the place. He is interacting with the students, and you see him getting off the elevator, and he's doing this. You see him in the street. And honestly, I did say that. I said, that's good. And I think I mentioned to you one time, I said, I see a lot more going on with the college. I see this group and that group and do this and do that. Whereas when I left there in 17 and previous to that, there was some things going on, but it's not to the point where it is, where it was when you started. So there is a difference.
I've always, students students have inspired me to devote my career to education. I'm inspired by them. I've never been so inspired as I am by Hudson County Community College students.
Yeah, that's good.
So frequently navigating huge barriers and excelling and going on to Ivy League schools You know, you're a great example of an inspirational student. I know the story. You know, you had a whole career in business and finance, but you always wanted to be a chef, and you went back and
Yeah.
got, you know,
I'm still,
you got a bachelor's.
yeah, I'm still, I'm still working at it. It's a long road. Um, I got 10 sponsors now, and
Wow.
we're headed to with the company Badami TV. Excuse me. It's Badami TV, African American Short Films. They have a subscription
Wow.
services, so they're bringing me aboard to their subscription services, and I'm producing 2 short films for them. That is going to be on CBS TV.
Fantastic. And you know, and I know that you volunteered yourself to test recipes on America's Test Kitchen,
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
and you're doing your own cooking show in your house, and now you're going to do things for CBS. You are an inspiration. So, I when we're all on the ground, I like to do what I call pizza with the president. So I give away pizza. The only thing you have to do
I
is shake my
remember
hand.
that. Yeah, yeah.
And I
That
get,
was nice. Yeah.
in the process, I get to talk to students and hear their stories, which just inspire me. And what I wanted to share is we've learned how to do virtual pizza with the president.
Oh,
So,
really?
well, I'm eating a piece of pizza while I
Yeah,
talk.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But we also give away gift cards so that students can buy pizza. But, you know, I just had one of these last week, and students were sharing their personal stories through the pandemic. And you know what our students have been saying? They've been, honestly, and I hear it all the time, this college is more than a place where I'm taking classes. This is home to me.
Yeah.
This is my family. This is a place where I quickly learned it wasn't just about the classes. People care about you. People love you. I feel this is a place that's given me a whole new sort of sense of purpose. I feel home here. So we have started referring to the college as Hudson is home, using Hudson is home
Yeah,
as sort of a tag.
which is good.
Students are using
And then
those are
what you're doing with
words.
the pandemic going on, you know, the safety practices that you have put in place throughout the college. I saw some pictures, and they had the camera was pointing to it, and they had to walk in and look at this, and I thought that was really great. When someone told me about the culinary building, you have to go in, you have to check the temperature, you have to go upstairs, you have to wash your hands, you have to go into the room, you have to. I said, wow. I said that's pretty good. So did this fall with this? Did it? How has it been affecting the surrounding community with the students and the faculty with the pandemic and the safety issues? Because when I was at the library several times, I saw some of the public that come in to use the computers. So what's
Yeah.
happening with that?
We're gradually, you know, we're gradually growing what we're doing on ground as we feel we can do it safely. And so, you know, we have gradually expanded the number of people that can be in the library, which includes public, you know, and we take the community in our title really seriously. We're a community college. And so we have, right now, we have lots of engagement with our community virtually and on the ground. You know, one thing I would share with you, another sort of point of inspiration is all through the time we were totally remote and continuing forward, we have had our food pantries. We have a food pantry on the
Yes.
Journal Square campus and one on the North Hudson campus. Those food pantries remained open from the moment this hit through volunteers because our college community and the outside community needed that support.
Yes.
So students, faculty, and staff volunteering, even though there's a health risk, to provide food out of our food pantries, and that included the community.
Mm-hmm.
And so then, as that was happening, our chefs, our chef instructors, and our students started making meals for our students, faculty, and staff. So
I saw a couple of pictures. I
Yeah.
saw a couple of pictures. I think it
So, you know,
was I think it was Chef Bensky.
yeah, he was a leader in this, and others were involved too. And they just started just on, nobody asked them to do this. They just started cooking gourmet meals and providing them to anyone that needed them through our food
Yes.
pantries.
Yeah. I
So we had
heard.
students taking meals to their family, students, faculty, staff that have concerns about being able to feed their kids, getting these prepared meals that have been prepared by people that care and want to make a
Hmm.
difference.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now we purchased, these things just keep, it's like a snowball. So now we purchased really first-rate refrigeration equipment so that we
Oh
can do this
yeah.
in
I
our.
was. Yeah. 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 Now, with all of that said, with the community, how did the college deal with Black Lives Matter? Did the college join the community with that?
Yeah, our President's Advisory Council on Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion started in fall of 19. And this is a group now of some 38 students, faculty, staff, community leaders, trustees, who are committed to providing leadership and support college-wide and community-wide to advance diversity, equity, and inclusion in all of its forms. And this started before the pandemic. It started
Ah.
before
Uh-huh.
George Floyd and subsequent murders. It started before the tragic Jersey City shootings, the anti-Semitic motivated shootings last December. But it's interesting in retrospect, so this work started, we started to have like sort of galvanized efforts across the community to look at all things related to diversity. We started creating new policies and procedures that are designed to help us recruit an increasingly more diverse faculty and staff. Out of this came all kinds of programming, beautiful programming, celebrating differences in cultural traditions. And then when the Jersey City shootings happened,
Yeah.
we came together as a college community the next day to offer support to one another, but also to share feelings. And even, I took some criticism that was well deserved. I remember in this town hall meeting, it was like, why didn't you communicate with us sooner about what was going on? And in some way I had to say, mea culpa. And so we learned from that experience. It had a palpable impact. And so we started doing more of this. And this is kind of some of the programming I was mentioning. Pack Day has been a driving force bringing us together. So when George Floyd happened, Pack Day didn't do all of the work, but they facilitated us coming together and sharing and mourning. And out of that came efforts. It brought people together around
Yeah.
these concerns who then chose to, in some cases, protest or march, or I mean, just all kinds of things. Writing letters to legislators and community agencies, really trying to become civically engaged around the problem.
That day
And
when
keeps happening. So
that
we're seeing it happen.
yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we're seeing the college communities now become accustomed to let's get together when something happens. Let's get together and talk about what we can do. Let's have an opportunity to share our feelings, and that has fueled not administration. The administration hasn't organized marches because we think that has to be an individual decision. But this work has supported people who
Yeah.
want to get involved in any number of ways, do so. And this, out of all of this has come just this sense of campus engagement and mutual support for one another that has really, it has fueled work we're doing in the community. It really has been inspirational to watch happen, and it's continuing to evolve.
Yeah. That day when they had the funeral over there on Bergen Avenue. I was at the library that day.
Oh
I just
yeah.
happened to go to General Square, and I didn't realize that that was going to be as big as it was. So I
Yeah.
decided, I said, let me go into the library. And I was calling home, oh, I can't get home. And so I walked over to, I mean, that was a really sad day. And with this and with the pandemic, what does it look like for the spring,
Yeah.
for the college, for Hudson Community
Well,
College?
you know, fall has gone, all things considered, exceedingly well. I think everyone pretty much feels like, you know what, some people were apprehensive about taking a class on campus or offering one on campus. We didn't make anyone do that. We made sure everybody had options that would allow them to work at home or study at home. Nonetheless, because we prepared and for all of the reasons that I mentioned earlier, and with all the tools and support, fall's gone well. I think folks that are on campus, we're offering services on campus, we're offering classes on campus. People tell us again and again, we feel safe. Like this is perhaps as safe an environment as you can get right now because of all the work that's gone into it. And we've had protocols. I got the virus.
I think I saw, didn't you send out a letter regarding that? Did you send out a letter?
Yeah, I let people know.
Yeah.
So I've had people test positive, I think to date about 35, but because we planned it, we have a whole process that really helps make sure we keep people safe. So when someone tests positive or they find out they've been with someone who's been positive, there's a very easy process to let us know, and then we're immediately able to make anyone who might have been in contact with someone aware of it immediately. We've had to, in some cases, routine classes for a while, but we've got the protocols, things. I think people feel good and safe. So as a result, currently we're on about 15% of our coursework on campus. Our plan for spring, is to offer about a third of our courses on ground, a third online, a third remote.
That's
online
good.
is 8. So we're trying to ramp up the number of on-ground both courses and services because some students want the on-ground experience or need it.
Yes, I've heard that before. I've heard,
What we're basically,
they want that one-on-one, opposed to looking into a camera. It's almost like you want to see, feel, and touch. To be with other people in the room. That's very, very important. I took an online class and I didn't think it was going to be like it was, but it was only one. It was something regarding pop culture. I took a pop culture at FDU. I was FDU. And it was a little different. It was a little different. I think we tend to slack off a little bit when it's online.
Well, it depends. If you have faculty that are really good at teaching online, it's interesting. You can't slack off. You can't. This is another whole topic, but faculty that are really adept at teaching online, they draw you in. You can't sit in the back of the room and try to be not recognized. They draw you in. They make sure you're engaging.
Okay. Okay.
We have had different levels of expertise. We've had to learn together. I think our whole college community has become much more familiar with and comfortable with technology and the use of online. We also recognize a lot of our students didn't have the hardware they needed. So we used federal stimulus and other funds to buy Chromebooks.
I heard.
We loaned Chromebooks to any student that needed them, over 1,000. And we actually made those available through the food pantries because they were operating even during them.
That was good. When I saw that, I said, a lot of kids are, they're really, really, really happy about that. Wow, Dr. Reber, this has really, really been good. But I have one last question before we go. And thank you so much for being here. My question is...
Thank you, Rene. We are so proud of you and happy for you.
Thank you. And if I could do anything to join the forces, please have someone reach out to me. I'm here.
Yep.
However, In one word, how would you describe Hudson County Community College?
You know what word I'm going to use? Inspirational.
Huh?
Inspirational.
Yes. Yes.
I am inspired every day. And, you know, as horrible as all of these challenges have been, there have been so many silver linings thanks to the goodness and the generosity of students, faculty, staff, community. And it's really, as hard as this has been, it has also been, I think, affirming in terms
Yeah.
of, at the end of the day, belief in the goodness of people and
Yes, you have.
humankind,
Yeah.
of education.
And I'm sure people have wondered why, when I ask you that question, why am I laughing and you're smiling? Because that is your signature question. And Miss Christopher and I, we were talking about it, and I says, "Oh, I'm gonna get him on this one." And thank you. I really appreciate this. I really appreciate what you and Miss Christopher and the college have been doing for me from day one, and I'm still working with you. And if there's anything that I can contribute, whether from home or at the college, please have someone reach out to me. I see things going on, and I'm not the type to say, "Oh, I want to be a part of it." If someone invites me, I think it's a little bit more personal.
Sure. Well, I will take that to heart. I appreciate that. And thank you, Chef Rene, for everything you do. You're a good man. And you are a manifestation of the reason Hudson County Community College exists.
Thank you. And you're doing a wonderful job. Ladies and
Thank you
gentlemen,
so much.
this has been Dr. Chris Reber. He is president of Hudson County Community College, and today the spotlight was on him, a conversation. Thank you, Dr. Reber, and I'll see you
Thank
on
you, Rene.
campus. Okay.
Absolutely. Bye-bye. Stay safe
Bye-bye.
and well.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.